Hello everyone, I'm Casper Kuma and welcome to Lift Your Spirits. Let's get started. Alone on a Friday night, and I'm spending it here. My fingers were sluggish as they typed out the last bit of conclusion needed to finish off my paper. I didn't even bother to spell check the rest, my hand dragging the cursor across to close the document. Alright, time to submit it. I typed out my regards to Mr. Holtman. Kindly find the attached file of assignment. Your student... Casper! I love it when they let us be ourselves. Stifling a yawn, I turned on my phone to check the time. 2:53 a.m. The universal experience of losing sleep and gaining eye bags as a college student came to grace me in its hold once again, it seems. At least it's the weekend. Are we, like, in the school building? Are you allowed to be in the building at, like, 2 a.m.? I'm trying to remember. I forget if, like, the school buildings, like, kick you out at some point. I guess they don't. I mean, I guess some people have work to do. I don't know. I never stayed inside the school building till 2 a.m. I'd be too scared. Turning off the computer, it suddenly hit me how quiet it was without my fingers tapping away at the keyboard. Everyone else had left. Campus was open 24/7, but who else was dumb enough to push their luck in submitting their assignment this late? I think, like, all of them. All college students tend to push the limits on paper submission time. I considered myself lucky Mr. Holtman gave me the extended deadline, otherwise I'd be screwed. Still, there were also the rumors. Disembodied voices echoing through empty rooms. Heavy footsteps shuffling down the halls. Those who were lucky claimed to see a black silhouette sulking around the vending machine at the end of the corridor, staring at them. I'm really hoping it's just our shadow in that monitor. It's kind of freaking me out. I wasn't the superstitious type, but I had to admit the eerie silence of being the only person here gave me the creeps. No thank you. Go away, please. I was recalling all the gossip spread around the student body when a sound made me perk up. I glanced behind me over the monitors to see if someone had come in. Nobody. I ignored the goosebumps rising on my arms as I gathered up my items into my bag. Superstitious or no, I've done what I came here for. Time to go. I shambled to the elevators and tapped the button. It rumbled to life, slowly making its way up to my floor. Just a couple more minutes and I'm out of here, I assured myself. I don't know why, but I found myself constantly checking behind me as if expecting someone there. Yet it's always empty every time I look. I tapped the button some more. The hairs at the back of my neck stood as if I'm being watched. What's that noise? I clenched my fists, ignoring how sweaty they felt in my pockets. Is there someone behind me? I hear breathing. It's not good. Ding! I jumped. The door slid open as I released the breath I didn't realize I was holding. I didn't even consider looking back as I stepped inside, refusing to turn around until the doors closed. The chipper background music they played calmed me down somewhat. I'm almost in disbelief that they were still playing at this hour. Almost. I pressed a button for the ground floor, and the elevator moving with a small jolt. With nothing to do but wait, I stared as the number slowly descended. The lull of the elevator was starting to make me sleepy. I thought of the things I could do once I got home, just to distract myself for the rest of the ride. A shower for sure. Microwave dinner, probably. No thank you. I blinked up at the flickering lights. The elevator shuddered and came to an abrupt halt. The music cut out. I tried the button for the ground floor and then the rest. Unresponsive. Pushing the intercom button gave me nothing but static. Hello? No. This can't be happening. Taking a moment to compose myself, I called out. Is anyone out there? I'm stuck in here. Help! I started slamming the doors as panic took hold. There had to be someone out there. Help! Please! I'm in here! I didn't stop for a good minute, getting more and more desperate as tears welled up in my eyes. Why? Why now? Why me? I knocked my forehead against the door in a slump, ready to curl up and cry. This sucks. I was about to turn before I felt a chill run up my spine. The air felt heavy. Is this claustrophobia setting in? I didn't think I had a fear of closed spaces. Unless... There was a raspy moan from behind me. I turned my head and screamed. Across me was a growing blotch of darkness, an oozing mass that seemed to melt through the walls. I scrambled away, my back flat against the doors. Oh, God. A hand emerged from the writhing form, grasping at the edges. The foul-smelling black ichor dripped from its fingers. Oh, thank you. Another arm followed suit, clinging to the other side. And I couldn't look away. I couldn't find my voice to scream. A face took shape. Oh, God. A pair of hollow eyes and a manic grin with several teeth. It seemed to smile directly at me. I blacked out. Up. Hey, wake up. Hey, hey! I heard a voice, panic and flustered, from above me. Huh? A person was looming over me, visibly worried as I blinked back to consciousness. You're alive. I couldn't really check for a pulse, so, anyway, are you alright? Let me save. Just because I know this game has multiple endings. I think so. I'm pretty sure this is the ghost. I'm not gonna say don't touch me, creep. I don't want to anger it. I think so. Phew, I'm glad. Didn't mean to scare you back there. Oh, you are the ghost, so you acknowledge it. I realized it's still in the elevator, but now with a stranger twiddling their thumbs in front of me. They were taller than me, looming a few good inches past my head. Their limbs looked even more awkward and baggy in the baggy sweater they had. I wasn't sure if they forgot to wash their makeup or if they just haven't slept for 3 days straight. Probably both. I realized they were staring at me as well. Their eyes focused on me a little too long, as if they'd forgotten how to blink. So... I suddenly remembered the last thing I saw. That creepy shadow from the walls. But before you were here, there was something crawling out of the walls. I know this sounds insane, but I swear, it looks straight out of a horror movie. The stranger looked nervous. Crap, they think I'm nuts. Don't look at me like that. No, I believe you, for sure. You saw too? Well, sort of. Sorry, I was really trying to be sneaky. That must have been uncomfortable to watch, huh? Come again? What are you saying? Well, I heard you yelling for help and I couldn't just leave you alone, so I did the next best thing I could. Are you saying that was you? Yes, in a way. There's really no easy way to say this. I'm not alive, not the way you are. Did they mean... You mean like a ghost? The stranger lit up appreciatively. Basically, you must have heard the rumors, right? Well, it's me, in the flesh. Well, sans the flesh. I mean, I don't want to stick my hand in crazy, so we'll go with believe them. I feel like this isn't the worst situation to be meeting a ghost for the first time. The stranger gave a sigh of relief. Thank you for trusting me. I'd like to ask for your name, but I already know that it's Casper. How did you... I've been watching you for a while. Excuse me? Tonight. I've been watching you for a while tonight. It's not safe to be alone this late. I would know. Before I could ask further, they straightened. Anyways, I stuck around to see you write your paper. Don't necessarily agree with your hypothesis, but interesting nonetheless. Thanks, I think. They gave me a shy smile. No problem. This wasn't the way I expected my night to go, but I guess the sooner I accepted it, the better. I should probably ask their name instead of calling them stranger. You know my name, but what about yours? Oh. They looked away, fingers picking at their sleeve. I don't remember. I know who I was and what I did when I was alive, but not my name. Strange, isn't it? Have you ever thought of picking one yourself? Their eyes widened as if the thought never occurred to them. I never needed a name, but if I were to have one, I've always liked the way Alma sounds. I mean, yeah, sure, it's perfect. Their smile widened. Thank you, Casper. Alma went back to twiddling their fingers. We stood in silence for a while, gauging on what to say next. I kept glancing back at their hands, wondering if they'd feel as solid as they looked. They knew I was staring, but didn't seem to mind, waiting patiently in front of me. My thoughts were running wild from sleep deprivation and shock to actually form words past our introductions, to be honest. They started humming softly, as if to fill the silence. That's when it hit me. For a ghost, they could easily be a student just like me. I have to ask, how did you... Alma had a knowing look in their eyes. Aw, man. It's honestly kind of embarrassing. Do it. We're gonna insist. Come on, tell me. Despite having no blood flowing through their veins, their cheeks seemed to darken. We, we don't have to get into it. But I really want to know, please. I... They hesitated before nodding. Promise you won't make fun of me? Promise. Okay. So, I was staying late at night working on an assignment, just like you. No one was around. Even back then, I was known as a loner most of the time. It didn't bother me. While I was working, I got thirsty. No big deal. So I headed over to the vending machine for a drink. They paused, hands shaking. They clasped her wrist and twisted before continuing. Just soda, not too much to ask, right? I paid for the damn thing, but somehow my hand got stuck in the dispenser. So I pulled and, well, they struggled a bit before I waved for them to continue. It fell. I felt my whole body being crushed under the weight. I couldn't even cry out for help. And the whole time my hand was still stuck on that thing. Not that I could even tell. I think my wrist was beyond saving at that point. They sunk into themselves. I died trying to get a cheap soda. How pathetic is that? It's not so bad. Some people die on the toilet. At least you were clothed. I don't know. It's not. I'm sorry that happened to you. Kind of sound like you deserved it. Why would she or they deserve it? They've done nothing. They wanted a drink. It's not. I'm sorry that happened to you. I put my hand over theirs. It passed right through, giving an ice-cold chill at my fingertips, but Alma seemed to appreciate it nonetheless. They looked up at me, their nervous hands finally coming to a stop. I've never told anyone about it before. I didn't think it would feel like this. Freeing. Thank you. You know, I think you're a really great person. I want to help you get out of here. I tilted my head. How are you going to do that? I can try some things. That is, if you trust me. They're the same. Why don't we have another option? Is it just because of the choices I've made thus far? We don't have any other option except for trusting Alma? I mean, I guess if we gotta pick, we have to trust Alma. They clapped their hands excitedly. Okay, here we go. You might want to hold on to something. Before I could ask further, the elevator began to drop. Oh my god, we're gonna die. My heart plunged in my throat as my weight shifted upwards. Alma? Hang on, let me focus. The buttons for each floor flashed beside me. I closed my eyes shut and decided to trust them. It felt like a roller coaster heading straight to the ground. The air whizzed around me. I gripped my teeth and clenched my hands, knuckles probably white if I bothered to look. And just like that, it stopped. I yelped as the elevator jolted. I landed on my ass with a smack. I blinked my eyes open to see Alma clapping excitedly. Did we just die? They looked over to me on the floor and gestured towards the doors. They creaked open, as if manually pulled apart by an unseen force. My jaw dropped as I realized they really did bring me to the ground floor. You really did it. I did it. I never got to do that before. I couldn't believe my eyes. I stood and threw my arms around Alma, only to completely pass through them. They yelped and backed away to the wall. Give a signal before you do that. I don't appreciate feeling hands inside of me. It's gross. Sorry. I gathered myself and stepped through the doors, Alma following suit. Sure enough, the lobby was empty. The clock on the wall indicated that it was close to 4 a.m. now. Well, I guess this is it. I turned to see them trying hard not to reach for their hands, fingers twitching to intertwine with one another. It all happened so fast. It's sunk in now that I could leave and go home right now if I wanted to. Alma, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, if it's 4 a.m. though, at this point we might as well just stay here. We probably have class tomorrow, right? We just sleep in the building. I don't know. They nod understandingly. I stood there for a moment as they looked at me before averting their eyes. They were waiting for me to leave. I grasped at my phone inside my pocket, mustering the courage to ask what I was about to ask. Would you ever want to hang out again? They did a double take. Huh? Would you want to? Yes! But why would you want to? Why wouldn't I? I like you. Once again, their cheeks darkened despite being them. I, I like you too. Yeah, I'd love to hang out with you again. Great, preferably when I'm, not stuck and helpless in an elevator. My heart skipped a beat as they laughed lightly. Preferably, of course. I'll see you next week? Yes, don't worry about a time or place. I can always find you. Wherever you are in the building. Kind of unsettling, but okay. Stay safe, Casper. I waved and headed towards the entrance, pulling my phone out to call for a driver from one of my apps. When I turned to look back, Alma was already gone. Good end too. Friends for life or more? Okay. Let's go back here. Let's be mean this time. Completely mean. Ew, don't touch me, creep. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. Just give me some space, will you? I realized I was still in the elevator, but now with the stranger twiddling their thumbs in front of me. They were taller than me, looming a few good inches past my head. Their limbs looked even more awkward in that baggy sweater they had. I wasn't sure if they forgot to wash their makeup or if they just hadn't slept for 3 days straight. Possibly both. I realized that they're staring at me as well. Their eyes focused on me a little too long, as if they had forgotten how to blink. So I suddenly remembered the last thing I saw, that creepy shadow from the walls. Before you were here, there was something crawling out of the walls. I know it sounds insane, but I swear, looks straight out of a horror movie. The stranger looked nervous. Crap, they think I'm nuts. Don't look at me like that. No, I believe you, for sure. You saw it too? Well, sort of. Sorry, I was just really trying to be sneaky. That must have been uncomfortable to watch, huh? Come again? What are you saying? Well, I heard you yelling for help and I couldn't just leave you alone, so I did the next best thing I could. What kind of sick joke is this? I was just trying to help. There's really no easy way to say this. I'm not alive, not the way you are. You mean like a ghost? The stranger lit up appreciatively. Basically, you must have heard the rumors, right? Well, it's me, in the flesh. Sans the flesh. Stick your hand through them. My hand shot out before I could think twice. What? The tips of my fingers instantly felt airy and ice cold, like touching something solid yet not. The stranger yelped and backed away. Hey! Do you just go around sticking your fingers into people you just met? Sorry, I thought you were messing with me. The stranger was having none of it. Ugh, why do I even bother? If you sit tight and don't do anything stupid, they'll come and find you in the morning. They shifted into a familiar black, shapeless entity, melting into a puddle and disappearing through the floor. Exactly the same way they had entered. I found myself alone for the next 7 hours. The workers found me half dozing in the corner the next morning. I stayed late most nights on campus to see if the stranger would show up, but it seems they're ignoring me on purpose. I never saw them again. Bad end 1, rude awakening. Alrighty? Looks like we can skip around though. Let's be half nice, half mean. I think so. And then go with what sick joke is this? Believe them. We'll keep them on their toes. Nobody asked for your opinion. Oh, sorry. This wasn't the way I expected my night to go, but I guess the sooner I accepted it, the better. I should probably ask for their name instead of calling them stranger. You know my name, but what about yours? Oh, it's Alma. Okay, let's go. Let's try to aim for bad ending 2. It sounds stupid. Oh, no need to be rude about it. Alma went back to twiddling their fingers. We stood in silence for a while, gauging on what to say next. I kept glancing back at their hands, wondering if they'd felt as solid as they looked. They knew I was staring, but it didn't seem to mind, waiting patiently in front of me. My thoughts were running wild from sleep deprivation and shock to actually form words past our introductions. I already read that. We'll back down. I guess I don't have to tell you then. That's all right. I heaved a sigh and moved to sit down, leaning against the doors. Alma looked on curiously. What are you doing? I shrugged and took out my phone to look for a time-wasting app. In no time, I had one of my mindless games open. Might as well settle in and spend the next few hours trying to beat my high score. Not much I can do right now. Got some battery to last a couple of hours. I pat down the spot next to me. You want to watch? Alma stood for a moment as if unsure. Come on, plenty of room for both. Just watch your legs, Lanky. They settled in beside me, sitting crisscross applesauce, and leaned over to look at my phone. My shoulder immediately chilled at their close proximity, but I didn't bother bringing it up. We chatted amicably as my fingers tapped away at my screen, only getting more invested the higher my numbers got. But otherwise, it was peaceful company. A few hours passed. I must have dozed off at some point, as the next thing I knew, there was some whirring behind me that woke me up with a jolt. Voices began to call out, and I turned to see some workers prying the door open for me. It took no time for me to step outside when their work was done. The sunlight shining over me made me feel like everything that happened last night was a dream. I turned on my phone to look at the time. Instead, I saw an unsent message typed out on the screen. Be safe. Careful about staying late next time. I blinked and looked around. A cold chill went up my arm, and I almost turned to expect Alma, but saw nothing. Next time. I put my phone away and rubbed my bleary eyes, mentally making a note to stay back at the campus more frequently from now on. Good ending one. Till next time. Alright, so we didn't get the right one, but I mean, we didn't get that one before, so I guess it's fine. Alright, now we have to keep her on her toes, get that bad ending too. Let's keep pushing them. Oh, too much, too much. Don't touch them, maybe. Believe them. Thanks, I think. It's perfect. Insist. Then we'll make fun of him. Kinda sounded like you deserved it. I heaved a sigh and moved to sit down, leaning against the doors. Alma looked on curiously. What are you doing? Okay, and then we're playing with our phone. Okay. That was the same. I think so? Sick joke? Believe them. Nobody asked. Sounds stupid. Insist. I wonder if we have to get it so we get back to that screen about trusting Alma or not. Alma's eyes shrunk into thin slits. You. Why are you so mean to me? What did we say? History. I died trying to get some cheap soda. How pathetic is that? I put my hand over theirs, passed right through, giving me a nice cold chill at my fingertips, but almost seemed to appreciate it nevertheless. They looked up at me, their nervous hands finally coming to a stop. I've never told anyone about that before. I didn't think it would feel this freeing. Thank you. Alma's eyes shrunk into thin slits. Okay. You, why are you so mean to me? We didn't really do any. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, we were kind of mean. The lights dimmed, a frenzy static rising in the air. A heavy weight settled into my chest as Alma stared me down. Their height only made me shrink further. I've done nothing but be nice to you. All I wanted to do was help, and yet... Ooh. Everything went dark. I stepped back as rasping noises came from in front of me. Sounds of scuffling and bone snapping. My back hit the wall. It was cold, colder than anything I've ever felt. It hurt to breathe as I waited in the dark for something to happen. Hello? Oh, the emergency lights turned on. Alma no longer looked human. Multiple eyes writhed across her form, tiny slits with red pupils, judging me. Mouths cackled and taunted, whispering, "You deserve this, you deserve this, you deserve this." Wait! My feet buckled as the elevator began to drop, free-falling as gravity's pull took over. The buttons began to light up one by one as we fell by each floor faster and faster as it gained speed. The scraping of metal was loud in my ears. I dropped to my knees begging for it to stop. And stop it did. Splat! Bad end 2. You deserved it. I think that's all the endings though. Let me check real quick. Yeah, 2 endings, 2 good, 2 bad. Nice! I liked it. So that was Lift Your Spirits. As much as I like Alma, I also don't really trust them very much. Like, I don't know. You kind of have no choice but to be their friend, you know? So is it really a friendship or is it a hostage situation? Because, like, I don't know. I mean, even if you're like, if you get the, I guess the second good ending or whatever, like, I don't know. They're still kind of watching you this whole time. It's like having a stalker. Like, you know? I don't know. I don't trust them completely. They seem nice, but they also are really easy to, like, offend. I mean, I guess we were pretty mean, though. Like, you probably shouldn't have said that they deserve to die getting crushed by a vending machine, you know? I guess that would cause a little bit of anger. But that's all for this one, so let me know what you think of the game down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. This is Casper Kuma, over and out.